Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this morning's press conference. You'll be addressed by Mr. Ahmed Djoghlaf, Executive Secretary to the Convention on Biological Diversity. To Mr. Djoghlaf's right is Mr. Shoichi Kondo, the Vice Minister of the Ministry of the Environment. Beside Mr. Kondo is Mr. Harrison Ford of Conservation International, and Mr. Russ Mittermeier, also of Conservation International. Mr. Djoghlaf will deliver first remarks to begin.
Good morning and welcome. I think it's an honor and a privilege to have Mr. Harrison Ford with us. It is very important for us that the issue of biodiversity be in the heart and soul of all the people of the world, and we are extremely grateful as the Secretary of the Convention to have the immense privilege and the unique opportunity to have a man who has devoted his career to conservation, who is the voice of conservation, in addition, of course, of being a very and a fantastic, successful, I think, movie star, and therefore, in his capacity as a member of the board of one of the most important organizations in the world concerning on the ground biodiversity for years and years, Conservation International. It is extremely important that his presence here is a very strong political message. And without further ado, Mr. Harrison.
Thank you very much. First of all, it's an honor to be here. I want to thank our Japanese hosts for the effort that they've put into this conference, and of course for their very important leadership contribution that they made or announced yesterday, the Life and Harmony Initiative, this $2 billion fund for critical assistance to nations to help them fund sustainable biodiversity and support their natural ecosystems is very, very important. I think it means so much that Japan has stepped up and made this leadership grant. I'm here in support of Conservation International. I've been on the board of Conservation International for nearly 20 years. Conservation International was talking about biodiversity before it was cool for a long time. CI has recognized the importance of biodiversity, and it's been key to our programs and our focus. The new initiative of CI, the 2515 initiative, is another strategic ambition, a necessary goal to set aside 25% of the Earth's land surface as those most important reservoirs of biodiversity, and 15% of the oceans, which are now less than 1% of which are protected, in order that biodiversity reservoirs may exist for some as we go into the future. It's a very important goal. It's an ambitious goal, but I have seen much support for it here, and I'm hopeful that it will get recognized and implemented, in aid of which CI has collected thousands of signatures from over 160 countries, from everyday citizens who recognize the importance of biodiversity to their lives, their future. And as I have done on nearly every opportunity since I've been here, I want to call on my government to become a signatory to the convention. It's been a long time in process, and it's the time certainly has come for the United States to step up to the plate assume a leadership position on this issue and ratify. The President has to ask Congress to ratify the treaty, and we'll finally become voting members of the Congress. I'm hopeful that that will happen. It may take a little bit longer than what we hope for, but I think there's a very strong sentiment that it's the right thing to do, must be done. So thank you very much for being here today. Thank you for giving me this forum. I appreciate it.
Yes, pardon me, sorry, Mr. Ford.
Russell.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Ohio gozaimasu. Very briefly, just to emphasize some of the points that Harrison made. I think we're at a historic moment here at this convention in which we're really going to determine the future of life on Earth. We need a very bold and ambitious strategic plan coming out of this meeting. And as you've seen, I think in many of the presentations that we've done and that you've heard from Harrison, we consider the protected areas component, Target 11, to be fundamental to everything that we're trying to accomplish, because protected areas are the most effective tool that we have for achieving biodiversity conservation. Terrestrially, we're at 12.9% of Earth's land surface. We think that at minimum we need 25% to ensure not just conservation of the full range of biodiversity that exists, especially in the highest priority areas, but also to ensure the continued supply of ecosystem services that are essential for human survival. We're also very pleased with the financial commitment that Japan has made. We really kind of see it as a challenge to other countries to step up to the plate and make similar contributions. And we also are very supportive of the concept of the International Decade of Biodiversity, which has been proposed by Japan. We hope that that will be finalized and move forward. We think that's an essential ingredient in what we're trying to accomplish. And of course, last but not least, I'm also an American citizen, and we really want to call on our government in the United States to finally ratify this treaty and become part of the team, the global team, working to achieve biodiversity conservation objectives. So I think I'll end there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mittermeier. So there's a person in the front row with the microphone. Take the questions. The gentleman with the beige suit.
Thank you. James Hahn from the Earth Journalism Network. Mr. Ford, how is your chest hair doing? Yeah.
Pardon me, questions?
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm reforested.
It's reforested. That's good to hear. I'm wondering, Mr. Ford, if you've had a chance to talk to any of the delegation leaders, and if so, what was the nature of your discussion, and what is your sense of the negotiations so far?
Well, yes, I have had the chance to speak to many delegates, and I have found a warm reception for the notions that we're, the strategy that we're advancing, the 25-15 strategy. And I'm very grateful for that. As far as the negotiations are concerned, I'm not really in the position to, I'm not intimately involved in the negotiations, but my sense is that these are difficult negotiations, these are complicated issues, but that I'm hopeful that that we'll have a very strong package at the end of this period of time. Thank you.
Take another question here, sort of back. The gentleman in the beige sweater, middle section.
Joydeep Gupta from IANS India. Mr. Djoghlaf, we are hearing from the negotiators that the agreements are not really getting anywhere. What's your realistic expectation from this conference now?
Okay, so we'll take another question here. Okay, gentleman in the yellow shirt in the front. Please state your name.
My name is Toshi Akaba at the Tokyo Shimbun Daily newspaper. I would like to ask Mr. Ford, this CBD conference facing a very serious situation. So, what is the best way to what is the best way to solve this conflict between developing countries and industrial countries? And could you tell emergency message for every delegation? Yes.
Well, I think it's in our own human self-interest to put national interests aside to the extent that it's necessary and possible, and to come together on an international basis to support biodiversity. It is the foundation of life on Earth. It's in the interest of every nation, the community of nations, to come together and focus on a very time-critical issue. I think they understand that, they sense that, and I have high hopes. Thank you.
We take another question front, the gentleman here with the black shirt.
David Kubiak, I'm here with Kyoto Journal and HD Hawaiian Television, and recently had the pleasure of collaborating with Mr. Peter Jenkins of Conservation International, who's actually been leading the charge in terms of organizing American NGOs for ratification of the CBD. And in the course of that, I ended up talking to the offices of 11 of the members of the Senate International Conservation Caucus, and got a very frank assessment that the main problem was that there was no pressure on the ground. Most people in America, probably less than 5%, are aware of the existence of the CBD or the occurrence of COP10. So in your role as a public icon in many ways, I'm wondering in the future how we can raise the profile of the treaty and of the importance of biodiversity as a concept within the American public opinion. Right now there's a sort of parallel effort to try to at least dream into existence COP12 in 2014 in Hawaii, which is the sort of the biodiversity hotspot of America. And would you be willing to collaborate on that, or can you help in many other PR activities to make this more of a visible phenomenon in America?
Listen, this has been it has been our ambition at CI to bring biodiversity to the forefront. We apply to the media as our partners to try and get the word out. And I thank you for what you're doing. I also thank you for the invitation to Hawaii. That's much appreciated. Yeah, I'll continue. As I said, I've been on the board of CI for 20 years. I will continue to do what I can to bring the issue to the attention of the general public. I think that there's two issues here. The problem is so significant, the time is so short. It's time to approach it. We have always approached this from the bottom up, trying to create public opinion which will support our political leadership. But I think it's now time to reach to the top and say, look, time is short. These issues are critically important. Act now. The environmental community needs to work together to create a kind of groundswell, undeniable political consensus that raises the environment to a movement level issue. I mean, we have failed to reach the weight of the civil rights movement, of the women's movement, and really that's got to be our ambition now. Bring the environment up to that level, and I'll do everything I can in aid of that. Thanks.
Great. other questions? Just gentleman here.
Thank you very much. I am Professor Mushakoji of the Japan Civil Network for CBD. The Civil Network sent on August the 20th a letter to President Obama and to the members of the US Senate as a formal appeal to ratify the treaty as soon as possible. Since Conservation International is one of the leading organizations dealing with this matter, we would like to offer to Conservation International a copy of that letter, if you allow me to hand it.
Please.
I would like to appeal to you also to do the best that the United States of America could ratify at last the treaty, the convention. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you very much. We have a very tight time schedule today, so I'm afraid we're not able to take more questions, but now will be an opportunity to take photos.